Did you notice anything in the game that sort of made you reminisce about Hurricanes Chiefs games when you were 2015, 2016, when you were crossing swords?
Yeah, there were some similarities, yeah. And we knew that was coming. But, you know, that type of play on the field's got to be dealt with by the ref. And, you know, there was several occasions where there were some off-ball incidents and stuff, but like I say, you know, it's got to be dealt with properly on the field. But we've got to be able to adjust to that as well, and I think that's probably, you know, why you got a couple of senior players in particular pretty fired up about it.
Were you disappointed by the lack of some calls by the officials?
Oh yeah, look, I mean, they see what they see, you know. If Paul missed stuff, then he's missed it. But if it's a consistent habit that he's seeing and it's not being looked after, then obviously we'd be disappointed. So we haven't had those conversations with the referee. But you know, it is what it is. If their intent is greater than ours around off-ball incidents, then you know, we've just got to make sure we have a crack back at them. But you know,
was there a habit being missed, do you think?
There were. I wouldn't say there was consistent. It wasn't consistent. There were some late charges. I mean, you guys saw all of that. There was one or two other incidents, but you know, All Blacks don't cry. You know, we just get on with it, and we adjust to how the game's being refereed, and that's in every department, whether it's breakdown, you know, set piece. We just have to adjust to how the game's being played.
John, what does your gut feel tell you about having a New Zealand referee managing a game like that with an Australian touch judge? Is it something that's doable in the future, or is it just a peculiar scenario that you're going to have to put up with?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it puts a lot of pressure on the referee more than anything. Not so much on us. I think it's on him. I mean, the local referees referee us a lot. They know us, and we know why it puts pressure on the referee, because it's based around you know, being biased or whatever. So you know, we had trust in Paul to do a good job, and you know, he went out there and did his best. There's always going to be big talking moments in test matches, and probably one of the bigger talking moments was some of the late hits, off the ball incidents and that. But you know, like I said, we've seen it all before in these big bled games, haven't we?
Anton, did anything surprise you about the Wallabies and the way they played, and maybe the increased physicality that they brought on Sunday?
No, not at all. I think knowing Ren's, I know how he coaches, and we talked about that before the first game, and I think that's the most disappointing thing, is that, you know, we talked about it all week, but we didn't match their intent or physicality. But hey, that's good for us that week. This week it's going to be sitting in our belly, and it's something we've got to get right.
Is it an easy enough thing to fix it as players if you know that you haven't matched them physically the way you want to? Is it an easy enough adjustment to make getting into a second test?
Yeah, I think it is. I think the beauty of that is it doesn't take talent. It's something upstairs, and you can feel it in the room this week. We've got plenty of that. So yeah, like I said, it doesn't take talent. We've just got to be switched on mentally.
In hindsight, were there signs leading to that during the week, do you think, Anton? And could you say what they are?
Look, nah, we thought we prepared really well, but for some reason it just wasn't quite there in the game. But the beauty is that we've played them now. We know how they're going to play, and obviously they'll adjust a few things. But we now know what's required to go out there and compete.